Today, we're going to talk about something that sits at the very heart of pretty much every conversation we have. It's about listening. And yeah, we all think we're pretty good at it. But the reality is often a whole lot different. We're going to break down this idea of the echo chamber of empathy and how getting out of it really just starts with one simple but powerful act. So let's just start with a question that gets right to it. We all like to think we're good listeners, don't we? I mean, we wait for our turn to speak, we nod, we make eye contact, but what's really happening in our heads while the other person is talking? And right there, that's the disconnect. On the outside, we're doing all the things that look like listening. We're quiet, we're looking at them. But inside, oh, our minds are going a mile a minute. We're not really absorbing what they're saying. We're judging it, we're seeing how it stacks up against our own experiences, and this is the big one, we're just waiting, rehearsing our comeback. This big gap between what we're showing and what we're thinking, that's what we can call the myth of listening. It's this idea that just because we're silent, we're actually connecting. But really, that silence is often just a cover for a very busy, very biased process going on in our heads that's actually blocking any real connection. So at the core of this myth is something called the message filter. The best way to think about it is like a mental bouncer for information. It's this sieve that's been built up over our entire lives, from our beliefs, our biases, our experiences, and it automatically sorts everything we hear. So here's how it works day in, day out. It's super simple and kind of scary. Step 1, the input. Someone talks. Their words enter our ears. Step 2, the filter. Those words immediately get run through our own personal bias machine. And step 3, the output. Only the parts that already fit what we believe get the green light. And everything else? It's just static. It gets discarded. Now, this little internal filter we've all got, well, it's not happening in a vacuum. Nope. It's actually being put on steroids by the world we live in, specifically by our digital echo chambers. Think about it. Social media isn't built to challenge you with new ideas. It's built to keep you scrolling. And how does it do that? By creating a perfectly tailored bubble just for you. The algorithm learns exactly what you like, what you agree with, and then it just feeds you an endless buffet of it. And this has created such a huge shift from how we used to interact. You used to just run into different viewpoints all the time just by being out in the world. But now you're in this curated art gallery of your own opinions. So when you finally do see something you disagree with, your reaction is totally different. It's not curiosity anymore. It's this knee-jerk defensiveness. We're just not used to it. So what's the big deal? What are the actual consequences of living like this? Well, this kind of surface-level listening, it has a real, tangible price. There's a high cost to all this filtering and just waiting for our turn to speak. The source material shares this incredibly powerful story that really brings it home. The author is talking to a friend who is just going through it, a really tough spot with his job, and he's finally opening up about it. And what does the author do? Jumps right into fix-it mode. Instead of just hearing the guy out, he starts rattling off a to-do list. You got to be more assertive. Just update your resume. Look, here's a 3-step plan. All totally well-intentioned, of course, but completely missing the mark. And his friend's reaction? It tells you everything. He didn't light up. He wasn't grateful for the advice. He just shut down. With every single solution, he got quieter and pulled away even more. It was a total failure of communication. And then the friend just lays it on the line. He says, I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to hear how hard this is for me. Wow. He wasn't looking for a consultant. He was looking for a friend. He was looking for connection. That moment, that painful realization is the whole key. It leads us straight to the solution, which is a massive shift in what we're trying to achieve in a conversation. It's about moving away from our own ego and moving towards theirs. So let's just put these two things side by side because it's like night and day. On one side, you've got listening to respond. Your goal is to win. Your action is to get your rebuttal ready. Your focus is all on you. But on the other side, you have listening to understand. Here, the goal is to connect. The action is just to absorb. And the focus shifts completely away from you and onto their world, their emotional landscape. And we have to be super clear on this one point. Empathy is not agreement. You can 100% disagree with where someone lands on an issue, but still do the work to understand the life, the feelings, the experiences that brought them to that perspective. That's the key. And what is so cool about this is that it's not just some nice, soft skill idea. It's baked into our biology.
When you're truly locked in and listening to someone, your mirror neurons actually start to fire. Your brain physically starts to sync up with theirs. You both get a release of oxytocin, the trust hormone. It's a real chemical bond, which means we can actually train our brains to be better at this, to choose empathy over ego.
So, what happens when we start making this change? Well, this personal shift, this biological connection, it doesn't just stop with the two people in the conversation. It creates a ripple effect that can have a much, much bigger impact. A great way to picture it is that you're building an empathy bridge. In a world that feels so divided, this bridge is like stable ground. It's a place where two people, even with totally opposite views, can stand together long enough to actually find a solution instead of just shouting at each other from across a canyon.
And this is really the magic of it. Genuine understanding naturally leads to action. You don't have to be convinced or argued into changing your mind when you've truly felt the weight of what someone else is going through. Change just becomes the next logical step. It's a natural consequence.
At the end of the day, the source material just nails it with this one line. The echo chamber, that place where it's so comfortable and everyone just agrees with you, yeah, it feels safe. But it's also a cage that keeps you from growing, from connecting, and from really understanding the world.
So that leaves all of us with a final thought. A challenge, really. Getting out of that cage isn't about some grand gesture. It's a quiet, moment-to-moment choice to stop planning what you're going to say next and just listen. The walls are still there. The only question is, whose voice will you decide to let in first?